Hi everyone, welcome back to CrochetRocks. Tracy here. So first I've got a bit of kind of bad news that the yarn that I was expecting to be delivered yesterday wasn't, and I got in touch with the company, funny enough, because I had an inquiry about other yarn, and so I said, you know, I'm waiting for a parcel from you today. Didn't really kind of go into a great deal of detail about that, but they messaged me back, emailed me back saying that they'd tracked the parcel and it was on its way back to them. So I messaged straight back and said it shouldn't be, because they called me and asked my address, you know, and what had happened. Oh, that's why I told them, because they'd missed off my house name, and so they didn't know where it was. And so when they sent me a snapshot, it was there. So I don't know what's gone on, but according to them, the courier said they attempted to deliver it 3 times. Well, I think the courier in question is DPD. And 3 times, today and yesterday, DPD have gone by my house. So it doesn't make any sense, does it? Maybe there's just one really dim driver that doesn't have a clue, but all the others are fine. I don't know. And the van earlier said DPD local, so they obviously should know how to get here, because they've been down this road, like I said, 3 times. So I rang them, the company, not the courier, and I said, look, I don't get this, you know, I've had parcels from you several times in the past and from others. I don't understand why, you know, they have no idea where I am, and it shouldn't be on its way back to you, and can you get in touch with them, please, because, you know, I'm waiting for this. So they said they would try their best to get it redirected back to me again, and if failing that, they'll send it out as soon as it gets back to them. But you know, when the courier rang me, they didn't have the complete address. So whether that's what got put on the actual box or on the invoice, don't know. But all I know is it was not my doing, and I'm the one that's losing out here. So not best pleased, but that's different services, isn't it, for you? You know, I've often thought about going over to someone like DPD where they wouldn't touch me until I'm a lot more, well, I send a lot more parcels, put it that way. But, you know, there's UPS, there's Every now, and what used to be Hermes, it had such a bad reputation, they rebranded. But that's the point. They've all got pretty mediocre reputations, apart from, funnily enough, DPD were quite up there. Bear with me a sec. Sorry that I really got very dry. I have got a drink of water, but I didn't bring tea in with me today. I decided I just had one and I didn't need another, which is a bit unusual for me. I'm English. I drink tea, you know. It's just the way it is. But yeah, decided not to bring one, and so I'm a bit bereft of tea, which is quite a sad thing. Now, Gary is in London. He had to take Charlotte to hospital for a test, and they left at 5 in the morning. We got up at 5 in the morning. I slept through that, thank goodness, but unfortunately they did have to take the kids with them, and they're really bored in the car, and the hospital are really late with their appointment as well, and there's only 2-hour slots in the car park allowed, so he'll probably have to drive off with them at some point. But I think he's kind of struggling in the car with 2 bored kids. I didn't realise he was going to have 2 very bored kids with him, and I feel a bit guilty now, sitting here in this peace and quiet when I could have had them, although I would have had to have got up at 5 in the morning, so that wouldn't have been nice. But you know what he's going through now isn't nice. Joke, however, is very nice. Oh, this is a great one. I like this. I got caught stealing a pork chop. The security guard said, "What are you doing with that?" And I said, peas and mashed potato would be quite nice. Oh dear, oh dear. No, I like it though, it's funny. Yeah, that was a funny one. I like that one. And I'd not heard it before, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so I brought some yarn off the shelves. I was just thinking, can you tell? I don't think you can. That one's been empty a while. I really need to fill them. But I think, oh, hello, it's because they're there out of your eye shot. Is that a thing? Vision? Line of vision. Let's just say line of vision. So what it is, I thought I wanted to do a little thing about Hayfield Spirit versus Papatya versus Robin, because people have thought they're all very similar, and they would be right in some cases. So this is the Robin Paintbox splash that has been very, very sought after since I put it on my shelf, and people have often asked me about it, and I said, you know, I will stock this as soon as I'm able to. And as soon as I got it, that blue one I think is out of stock. That one's quite low. They're all quite low now. So I do have a little bit, but not much. Now this is obviously my little stash that I bought to have a look at it, to figure out whether I wanted to stock it. And I have had this a while. So people have thought this is quite similar to Hayfield Spirit in that really soft pastel. Similar, but not quite. I knew this colour here was the difference. And also, it's got a little bit of it, but it's not really got the greens and everything else, I don't believe. And the colours are more yellow and less of the pinks, less of the blues. But it does have the same sort of colours in it, but as you can see, they are not the same. Even the yellows are different. This one's a more buttery kind of yellow, whereas this one's a bright, vibrant yellow. So, yeah, similarities are there. The fact that we've got these peach colours coming from the yellow all the way to the kind of pinks and blue, but nowhere near as kind of much or as vibrant as this. And that bright yellow is quite a large swathe, whereas in this one it's very small and it goes to oranges, and I don't think it does so much on this one. So that's the kind of difference. Other than that, they are both, these ones are both DK. And let's have a look at Zenity Gritty, shall we? So this one says that it has, if I can find it, that's not it. Why can I never find, they're both 100 gram obviously, but I can never find, oh, here we go. 360 meters, 393 yards. Hayfield Spirit label, that will say 345 meters, 377 yards. And I've already forgotten what this one said. I've lost it again now. 360 against 345. So you get more. You get a bit more in this than you do in the Hayfield Spirit, which is quite interesting, isn't it, when you consider that they're both 100 grams. The actual thickness of the strand is not dissimilar. It'll probably be easier to show you on another. Now these are wound exactly the same way, which you do need to beware, because if you leave them on your shelf for any length of time, this is what can happen to them. They get a little bit undressed, and that can, I find, have a little bit of a detriment when you come to use it. Now, I've kind of dressed this one up a little bit, not as perfectly as it was, but centre pull does stop that from happening if you can try and keep the yarn band on. Otherwise you will kind of get yourself in a pretty pickle. So Hayfield Spirit then, but there is also a chunky. in the Hayfield Spirit, and this is the colour Zest, which is absolutely beautiful. It's got all these rich oranges and darker, deeper colours. So that is Zest. Whereas so far anyway, the Robin does not have a chunky, but this one does, and it is beautiful. Now it also has double knitting, DK, chunky, same colours. So that's the beauty in the Hayfield Spirit, that if you really, really love this, but you want to make something thick for the winter, you've got a chunky version. Now, I don't stock all of them. There's way too many colours for that. So I was a little picky. And to be fair, this was out of stock for quite a long time. And I think they quite often have stock issues with the Spirit in this colour. It just says shade 408, but I have seen it with a name. I have seen it from time to time. But of course the chunky ones, they have got a variety. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? A variety of colours, the greys and mauve with a hint of the blues and the white. Now those I think are, oh no, I did have this one as well. So I've got a few different colours in the chunky in my shop. Now this one, I'm going to put that down for a minute. It is pretty stunning. It is gorgeous. Look at the colours in this one. So they're all in my shop, and this one's called number 405. So then when I look at the difference between the Papatya, which I do have several colours of Papatya, including the same colour as the Hayfield Spirit, that really lovely pastel one. I don't have it in here, but it's out in the yarn van. But this Papatya yarn is very, very similar. So what does it say regarding the yardage? We have 360 meters, which is exactly the same. Is exactly the same as the Hayfield Spirit. So I believe this is the same yarn, but just packaged by Papatya, or the yarn band for Papatya. But the obviously there are different colours in this one. I've never seen Hayfield Spirit in these colours yet anyway. So they are all very similar in subtle differences. So this is the same weight, the same yardage as Hayfield Spirit, but this one is the same sort of colour, but a lot more subtle. And these ones come in a different kind of variety of colours, as well as some of the same. But if you wanted a chunky, then it's the Hayfield Spirit for you, because it does come in this really lovely chunky yarn, which holds its shape a lot better, I have to say. Now, I'm not really that enthralled by the yarn band. I'm going to struggle to see that even with the light on. It's machine washable. Oh my, why not? The contrast is key, you know. 135 meters, 169 yards. It's got 80% acrylic, 20% wool. When I touch this, I can't feel wool. You know, sometimes it's gone dry again. Sometimes you can really feel wool. It doesn't feel like any wool in there at all. It just feels like the softest acrylic. So yeah, I think my next port of call is definitely a drink, but I was going to say the next thing I want to do with these yarns is make some swatches if I can. Well, I know I can. It's just time consuming. So last night I finished my scarf. I'll show you. I'm back. I decided on a scarf. That way I can make a hat and mittens and all that if I want to for the winter. So this is my scarf. I figured it was wide enough for me anyway, but I really like it. It's so soft. And I did touch a little bit on this this cake mainly because I wanted to get at the blue, so that I started and ended with the blue, just to manipulate it a little bit. But I really like this. It's nice. Feels so soft. It's beautiful. So with the rest of it, which is one whole cake and this, I'm going to have a go at making a hat. I know I can make hats, but what I mean is making a hat that possibly might match. Or I don't think I've got enough to do both gloves. So I have to kind of weigh it up as to what I'll wear most. And I think I'll wear gloves more than a hat. I'm not a hat person. I have been known to put on the odd beanie, but they don't suit me. For some odd reason, hats look ridiculous upon my head. And every now and then I find a hat that doesn't. So last year I made the hat out of the Stylecraft Amore yarn. Was it Amore? Yeah, Amore yarn in the colour berries. And remember I made those curly whirlies that went on top? Well, that hat actually is the only hat that I've made that suits me. I have worn a few hats in the past that have suited me, but that one, funnily enough, does. I really like this scarf. This is my new one for the winter. I never thought I'd have a pink and blue one, you know. Didn't really feel like that was my colours, but yeah, this is going to be it. So yeah, that's kind of my news today. No yarn. It's gone. I'm kind of, it's incredulous really. The more I think about it, you know, the more incompetent some of these people are. And they are. There's no other word for it. No, there's not. You know, they actually rang me. They rang me and said, "What, you know, we've got an incomplete address." Oh, okay, I said. I give them the address. So what do we do with it then? Oh, we'll send it back to the depot, back to where it came from. Even though we rang her and got her address, they got my phone number from somewhere. Maybe they must have opened the parcel and found inside my phone number, which, as I said before, had the complete address with it. It's puzzling for sure. Anyway, hopefully I'm going to have yarn to show you soon, but just not today. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.